In the fall of 2014, in a quiet, forgotten corner of Kentucky called Hollow Creek, a school teacher named Evelyn Carter vanished. Neighbors hadn't seen her in over a week. When police arrived for a welfare check on November 12th, they found her car in the driveway and the front door slightly ajar. A faint, sweet smell of rot hung in the air. Inside, the house was unnervingly clean, but something was deeply wrong. Every mirror was covered with a bedsheet, the corners taped down. Strange black handprints stained the walls, some smeared as if something had been dragged. Upstairs, every single light bulb had been unscrewed. But the most chilling discovery was in the kitchen. Evelyn's phone, its battery nearly dead, was still recording. The video was only 23 seconds long. In the shaky footage, Evelyn whispers, "Stop knocking, please. Just stop." Her eyes dart towards the hallway. Off camera, 3 dull thuds echo through the house. She turns the phone toward the sound. For a split second, in the far corner of the frame, something is visible. Crouched upside down on the ceiling, near a vent. Its limbs are impossibly thin, its eyes glowing in the phone's light. A burst of static cuts the recording. There was no body, no sign of a struggle, no forced entry. The case file simply called it a missing persons case with abnormal findings. But the real word, the one everyone was thinking, was unnatural. 2 days later, Detective Laura Keene, a 17-year veteran, took over. She was meticulous, reviewing every piece of evidence. Evelyn's life was ordinary with no signs of trouble. But the phone footage defied all logic. Forensic analysts found something bizarre hidden in the audio. An ultra-low frequency sound, a kind of pulse, layered beneath Evelyn's voice. When they analyzed the waveform, it looked like Morse code. The translation was a single word: under. Keene immediately ordered a search beneath the house. They opened a crawl space but found only dirt and the old remains of small animals. The search was cut short when one officer collapsed, swearing he heard a woman crying from deep within the earth. Meanwhile, back in the evidence room, Evelyn's phone started acting strangely. It would power on by itself, always at 3:07 a.m. The exact time of the recording. Technicians found new files being created on the locked device. One was labeled, "Look Under." It contained a single black image. When they adjusted the contrast, they saw it. The faint outline of a face as if it were pressed against plastic from the inside. Detective Keene started a separate, handwritten log, one she would never file officially. In it, she wrote, "This isn't a person we're looking for. It's a place." A few months later, in January 2015, police were called back to the Carter house. The power in the neighborhood had been flickering for weeks. The home was taped off, but someone or something had broken back in. The back door was splintered from the inside out, yet there were no footprints in the fresh snow. Inside, the air was heavy with static electricity. Every photo of Evelyn that had been on the walls was now turned face down. Detective Keene went in alone, her body cam recording. The footage shows dust swirling in the air. About 3 minutes in, the microphone picks up a faint, raspy whisper, repeating her name. "Laura. Laura." She freezes. The temperature in the room plummets from 67 degrees to 41 in less than 10 seconds. A light flickers inside the vent above her head. She shines her flashlight up at it, and the beam catches a reflection, something pale and wet, quickly retreating back into the darkness of the duct. After that night, Keene requested a reassignment, citing psychological distress. She told her partner she was hearing tapping noises from inside her own walls at home. Always 3 knocks, always around 3:07 a.m. 2 years passed. In 2016, Laura Keene returned to Hollow Creek, off the clock. She never filed a report or told anyone she was going. Her car was found abandoned on a logging road near the old Carter property, engine still running, driver's door wide open. The dashcam footage showed her sitting motionless for several minutes, just staring into the dark woods. Then she murmurs, "She's not gone. She's under." The car's headlights catch movement in the distance, something crawling low to the ground, and fast. Keene grabs her flashlight and gets out of the car. For 7 minutes, the camera records only the sound of her footsteps on gravel, And then, silence. The last thing the microphone picked up was the sound of faint breathing and a whisper identified as Evelyn Carter's voice, saying, "You shouldn't have come back." Detective Keene was never seen again. In 2019, the Carter house was finally demolished. As excavators dug up the foundation, they discovered a sealed, hidden chamber buried beneath it. The walls inside were blackened with soot and covered in strange symbols, crosses, circles, and what looked like dozens of eyes scratched into the concrete. In the center of the floor was a mound of ash mixed with bone fragments. Forensics found one molar. It belonged to Detective Laura Keene. The rest of the remains were too old and fragmented to be identified. The anomalies didn't stop. When the evidence was moved to a new storage facility, security cameras started capturing flickering lights and dark figures appearing for just a single frame. One technician quit after a recording he was reviewing began playing backward on its own. The distorted sound forming words, "Still here, still under." The police sealed the contents of the chamber in concrete. The case was officially closed, unsolved. Then in 2021, a new detective, auditing old cases, opened the Carter evidence box. The phone, which had been dead for years, suddenly powered on. Its gallery had one new photo, dated that very day, time-stamped at 3:07 a.m. It was a picture of a mirror, a sheet half pulled off reflecting a woman's face. It wasn't Evelyn's and it wasn't Laura's. The detective resigned a week later. The phone is now locked away in a federal archive in a box labeled "Do Not Access." 3 other officers who worked the case have since reported having the same recurring nightmare. A woman whispering to them from beneath their floorboards, begging them to look under. No one from the department has gone back to Hollow Creek. The cracked foundation of the Carter home is all that remains, overgrown with weeds. They say that on quiet nights you can still hear a faint humming sound when the wind blows through the old empty vents. The official file ends with a final handwritten note from the last agent to review it. It says, "Case 431 permanently sealed. Recommend no further investigation. Whatever's under Hollow Creek should stay there,